New wave icon Lene Lovich reflects on Detroit roots ahead of Pine Knob with Devo B-52s. Despite moving to England at a young age, new wave icon Lene Lovich says she still feels a deep connection to Detroit where she was born. She's set to open for Devo and the B-52s at Pine Knob on September 25th, her first Michigan show in decades. Before she became the Queen of Quirk in new wave, Lovich was a self-described Wednesday Addams, a quiet, eccentric child whose quirky nature would define her career. Now 76, the Detroit-born post-punk new wave pioneer who first gained attention in the late 1970s remains on tour, returning to Michigan on September 25th to open for Devo and the B-52s on her first full North American tour in 35 years. Though she moved to Hull, England, with her mother and siblings around the age of 13, Lovich insists Detroit remains very deep-rooted in her. In a phone interview ahead of her North American tour, she told the Detroit Free Press, "I think where you're born is always going to have an almost spiritual connection to you. That's where I came into the world." Though she hasn't lived in Detroit, she still feels a strong bond to the city. How Detroit shaped Lovich's creativity. Lovich's earliest memories in Detroit included simple pleasures like buying comics with pocket money, enjoying her favorite foods, and spending time with friends on the streets. "I was always a weird child," she said. "I was weird in Detroit, and then I was weird again when I came to England." Like the Wednesday Addams, she often tried to stay invisible to avoid being teased. These early experiences taught her to embrace her uniqueness, which she carried into her creative life. At some point, you learn that it's not always good to express your ideas in certain situations, Lovich explained. "As soon as I could create my own situation, I felt a huge release to be creative and say the things I wanted to say." A reclusive figure with enduring legacy, known for her theatrical stage presence and avant-garde style, Lovich helped shape the new wave sound of the 1970s and 80s. Her 1978 debut album, Stateless, featured the hit single Lucky Number, which climbed the UK charts and became a cult classic in the US. Her 1980 album Flex further boosted her fame. However, after No Man's Land, 1982, she stepped away from the spotlight due to clashes with her label over conformity to mainstream media. Since then, she's recorded only 2 more studio albums, March, 1989, and Shadows and Dust, 2005. Despite stepping back from the spotlight in the 1990s, Lovich remained a dedicated fan of her own style. Focusing on raising her daughters, she only made rare appearances before forming the Lene Lovich Band in 2012, touring the UK and Europe ever since. Lovich returns to North America, touring with new wave legends now performing across North America for the first time in decades. The band's website lists 27 shows in the US and Canada, starting in Des Moines on September 16th. Of those dates, 12 will feature Lovich opening for Devo and the B-52s on their Comic De-Evolution tour, including a September 25th show at Pine Knob Music Theater in Clarkston. "Both Devo and the B-52s were starting out at the same time as me," Lovich said. "We've had quite a few things in common, and they just invited me." She also recalls joining the B-52s in animal rights events and campaigns earlier in her career, co-writing the 1986 PETA anthem, "Don't Kill the Animals," with Nina Hagen. Thomas Dolby celebrates Lovich's return. Musician Thomas Dolby shared excitement for the tour on social media, writing, "Great to see Lene Lovich is touring again." He posted a photo of himself with Lovich and Les Chappell, her longtime partner and collaborator, taken in 1981, shortly after she recorded New Toy. The song, which became one of her biggest hits in the US, was written specifically for Lovich after she performed it live. It critiques consumerism and materialism, a theme still relevant today. Lovich's style, bold, unconventional, and secondhand, During her Detroit tour years ago, Lovich recalled shopping at Cinderella's Attic, a vintage clothing store in Dearborn that later moved to Birmingham. Though the store closed, she still remembers it as a treasure trove of unexpected finds. "I was always into secondhand clothes because I didn't have much money," she said. "But when I was younger, it was unpredictable and exciting." She's never been a fashionista, but she loves finding unique pieces in thrift stores. Looking ahead, classics and surprises. Lovich's upcoming shows promise classics alongside surprises. While she's currently living in the moment, she suggested the tour may inspire future performances. "I still have a voice," she said. "Sometimes, as you get older, people lose their voice, but I'm just lucky." Tickets for the September 25 show are available at https://theb52s-devo-cosmic devolution tour, Clarkston, Michigan, 0925-2025. Nur Rahal is a trending news reporter. Email her, nrahal@freepress.com. Follow her on Twitter @nrahal1.